the latest in cigar culture and lifestyle while providing a healthy dose of humor and news. I'm your host, Cole Parker, with my man, 50 grand in the building, Dr. Keep It Coming Jones.
Yeah. What's happening, good people?
Today we're going to talk about various things as it pertains to HBCUs, the success that comes from attending them, the forged friendships, as well as how affirmative action has really interrupted the culture of HBCUs and what those changes may look like. We're going to have a great time today, so what I want you to do is grab your stogie. Either you're a seasoned smoker or new to world cigars, don't worry, we got you covered. So grab your stogie, come on with us, we're about to get lit. Dr. Jones.
Absolutely.
How you doing, team?
Best day of my life, my brother.
So a little backstory with Dr. Jones here. Dr. Jones is my line brother. We're both members of Omega Psi Phi fraternity.
For sure.
And he is my line brother. For those who don't know what that means the process of you all becoming members together. Was that political or what?
Political.
That politically correct as a motherfucker, wasn't it?
Right on it.
In other words, we used to get our asses beat together, but
pretty much.
And we've been friends at least 30 years.
At least.
We're celebrating 30 years next year in the fraternity.
2024.
What's funny is, when I think back, motherfuckers that went over 1965, the motherfuckers like ancient to me.
Yeah.
Now I'm ancient.
Now we ancient.
I don't feel like I look like they look though.
I don't know.
Because some of them, like the 77 bros, look like they were 80 years old.
Bros came back. They were still in good shape, but hey, listen, we them now.
We are definitely fucking them.
Right now.
We are the uncles.
Oh, yeah. We are the down at the stadium with the what do you call the RV bros?
The RV bros.
Yeah, we disgusting. The RV bros.
But it is comfortable as a motherfucker.
It is.
I would definitely be an RV bro. I can smoke a cigar, chill. I don't even want to be in the sun. I'm old, shit. You know what I'm saying? The sun don't do well. You just hit 50, right?
That's right.
You just hit 50. Welcome to the 50 Club.
Appreciate that. I'm here.
All right. So, in the world of HBCUs, right? How did it adversely affect your trajectory of life? Like when you went to school compared to what you've accomplished and where you are now, how did attending an HBCU help define that?
Listen, man, attending Virginia State, let's be clear where we went to school, Virginia State University. The Virginia State University. In the 90s, early 90s, going there, I mean, you just never knew what you were going to run into. It was just a land of opportunity. So many good people all around. The yard was there every day. You just never knew what the next step was going to be. But it was all about preparation for me when I went to an HBCU. I was just preparing. Didn't quite know what I was preparing for most of the time. But I knew it was something good was getting ready to happen. And then throughout the course of your tenure there, you have an opportunity to meet some good people. You fall into an organization, the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. I mean, things just begin to happen for you. And post-graduation, if you're able to graduate, because there's so many different things that can hold you there if you're not focused on what you need to be focused on. But yet and still, if you graduate, if you don't, the relationships that you built over the years, they're for a lifetime. Right. You're not going to lose those. And then once you get into the world of working, which is where we are, which is what I do now, you meet people who attended HBCUs across the country. And even though they didn't attend the school you went to, you still have those similarities.
Right,
you can have similar conversations about things because of where you went to school. Absolutely.
So you have multiple degrees.
Multiple.
So I'm imagining all of them are not from HBCU.
Nope.
So even though it was a more a higher level degree, did you get to have any experiences with a PWI, a predominantly white institution as they're often called?
I've had some experiences with PWIs. My advanced degrees, minus my bachelor's, my master's, my specialist, and my doctorate is from a PWI. But, when I went there, I was more focused than I was as an undergraduate student at Virginia State. Let me be very clear about that. So my opportunities at those PWIs at the time, I was so focused on maintaining my grade point average. I really wasn't focused on that in undergrad. Right. I mean, but I was there to get my degree, but there was so many other things going on at the time. So when I went to the PWI, I was already college graduate. I had family, I had career. So my focus was, I was more intent more intentional about what I was doing at the time. I met some people there.
That was the next question.
I met some people there.
Relationships there.
I forged some relationships, but they were more so on the professional level, from a professor's perspective, because I wanted to make sure that they knew I knew what I was doing. Since I was there, I paid this money to attend to get these advanced degrees. So my relationships was more so with the professors than building a camaraderie with my classmates. I met them. I see them now in various events that we have to attend for my job, but that wasn't my goal then. My goal was to get that advanced degree. In undergrad, my goal was to graduate, but also build relationships, join organizations, have a great time. Two different things.
So you're from a smaller town.
Smaller town.
In Virginia.
Absolutely.
So me being from Los Angeles, it's almost like if we didn't attend school, we probably never would have met, right?
True.
So it does give you that ability to build a network way outside of the boundaries that you've already had during your course of life, right? Because from Freeman, is that correct?
Freeman, Virginia, that's right.
Being from Freeman, Virginia, which really means just that.
It means you from Freeman.
It was started by men that were finally no longer slaves.
That's right, no longer slaves.
And it's really called Free Man.
Freeman, Virginia. That's right.
That's crazy, but it's the truth.
It's the truth.
And so culturally, when I went to school, it became like I got to see people from East Coast, up top, Northeast. Got to see people down south,
right.
People in the middle, like the Midwest. I was already familiar with like the Chicago people, but like New Orleans cats, Philly cats, New York, Jersey. I was just like submerged in a culture that I wasn't used to.
Right.
I had a lot of music hang-ups. I'm listening to Snoop and Dr. Dre. They playing Northeast Groovers and Wu-Tang.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what I'm saying? So that was
by nature. Yeah,
that was a little different for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't identify with the music that much. Even to the point where I just recently did a podcast and Lazy Bone came in, on the podcast. And I was so entertained by the comedy of the bum, 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 didn't even appreciate the music. You know what I'm saying? So I got a chance to connect with him. And he was like, yeah, so what's your favorite song? And I was like, brother, I didn't even know you was fucking Lazy Bone.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I just knew you was one of the bones.
Right.
It was lazy bone, crazy bone, next bone, thigh bone, neck bone. I didn't know what bone you was, so they started yelling your name. You know what I'm saying? But now, that dude's probably going to be a good friend of mine long term. You know what I mean? We bonded. We had a good time. But even their music, like that Meet Me at the Crossroads, all that stuff was just a different type of rap with different cadences that I wasn't used to.
Right. So college exposed you to that.
It definitely exposed. Like I love go-go now. I hated go-go day one.
Yeah.
Once I got to the club and saw the go-go dancing, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I can do this all day.
All day.
To get in the water dancing. Put your one leg up, put your booty on the floor. And all that shit was fucking immaculately fantastic.
Early 90s.
Yeah, right. Maybe even a little earlier than that.
Maybe so,
But so for me, it was really a big change because I was from a crack-ridden neighborhood. Crack when it hit L.A. It hit L.A. first. So like by the time I got to school, first of all, when we got to school, it was a little turned up.
It was.
Mothers was shooting on campus.
Yeah, a lot.
It was a little turned up. Now
yeah.
we had a couple of hits.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, that dude's out of jail now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did his 25. Ooh. He's out of jail now, so anyway, so for me, it wasn't that much of a culture difference in the beginning. It felt like the environment I was in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing that I think we miss in HBCUs is the ability to connect with students who have backgrounds like mine. Compared to students whose backgrounds are like yours. Right. Like I came to school with a certain level of PTSD. You know what I mean? That some college students never would experience because just not in their neighborhood.
Right. That's fact.
So I think that we need to do something or come up with something to pay attention and be attentive to those who have those needs.
True. True.
And it shouldn't even start in high school. To recognize that it is PTSD on the front end. So if you can go back and do it all over again, would you still do the HBCU experience or would you do something different?
Absolutely HBCU. 110%. Yeah. I mean, because of the bonds and the experiences, and just being around individuals like you said, you know, that you may never encounter. You wouldn't have encountered them if you didn't attend that particular college and or university.
Right.
So definitely HBCUs, there's no knock against PWIs. They all have their place.
Right.
You know, but HBCUs is just where you want to be. You know, I have a daughter who attended an HBCU. I have one who's attending a PWI currently. But that's their decision, you know.
Right.
I can only share with them my experiences
Right.
and what I think they should do.
I'm 1 and
you know.
1 too.
You're 1 and 1 as
I
well.
got an
So
HBCU graduate and a PWI graduate.
so you know, they have to make a decision for themselves. But once you go HBCU, you never go back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. I mean, that's where you want to be.
Well, like I've talked to a lot of friends who did go to PWIs, and the colored community at those colleges, they are close, right?
Right.
But they're so limited in number that you close, but you close with 150 students out of 10,000.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Whereas it's nothing like everywhere you go, everywhere you look, it's you.
Everywhere.
It's a resemblance of you.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of reminds me of the Tom Joyner cruise. I've been on cruises that was just a general cruise with everybody on it, and then I've been on a Tom Joyner cruise multiple times. Well, the Tom Joyner cruise experience is everyone on that ship is part of the same party. So when we're together, we recognize it as such.
Right.
You know, it's not like we're not going to talk to you because you don't look like you belong with us. We all the same.
Got it.
Right?
Got it.
One of the things that I think that HBCUs are very good for is the support system.
Okay.
You know, support system from administration, from faculty and staff, even upperclassmen and other students. How were you led or kept in line?
Yeah.
Did you have mentors, something like that at school that helped you do that?
Well, speaking of the support system, you know, I feel like people at HBCUs want you to be successful. You know, regardless of what you're there for, whatever major you're majoring in, you're going to encounter individuals that want you to become the best version of yourself. So it's like the whole system is set up for support. Now, you're going to have different levels of support, different tiers of support at an HBCU, but you need someone in the registrar, you need someone in the cafeteria, you need to be in well with your professors, but the support is there. So I tried to align myself knowing that if I needed something, someone would be willing to sit down and have a conversation with me about it. Never was there a time when I was there and we was there together that I felt like I was alone. Or
Right.
no one would be willing to assist me with whatever my need was, because it's an HBCU. So somebody's going to talk to you because there's somebody there that wants you to become a better version of yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
I would agree. And then, you know, I think the different organizations, not just the Greek
True.
letter organizations, but different organizations, I think that they provide a healthy dose of support on top of everything else that is being supportive. You know, shout out again to the Bros, Omega Psi Phi. Shout out to the rest of the BGLOs, Black Greek letter organizations. The AKA, shout out to y'all, which reminds me of Carly.
Oh.
Okay. So for those who don't know, it's a young lady named Carly. She said she saw a baby on the highway. She was the only car that saw
Yeah.
him or her.
She's an AKA?
Yeah, she's AKA. That's why I brought it up this way.
Ah.
You like that segue, right?
Yeah, I
so,
appreciate it. Yeah.
So apparently this baby, it was an ace off of somebody's line. Probably, you know what I'm saying? Because he was a little dude. She got out. Whatever reason, she decided to leave her wig and leave her phone. Now, I know a lot of black women.
Yeah, it's tough.
You know, it is. I don't see them leaving either one of them on purpose. You know, so right there she had me until I saw the actual wig. Did you see a picture of the wig?
I didn't see the
Yeah, it was
wig.
like this black Pippi Longstocking little wig, one piece with a lace front on the front, right? And it had Velcro on the back. You had to see the Velcro to really get it. And it was just laid in the middle of the street, right? But when they got her phone, when the police got her phone, they went through. She had been researching, you know.
Not doing research on things like that.
Taken is my favorite movie.
Oh.
Now she got a movie called Tooken. You know, so she's Tooken now. They got...
Ooh.
They, you know, they had a researching like about Amber Alert, you know, the fees associated with that. What's like the time for people to find you. All this stuff that pretty much led to bullshit, right? And as a person who has a company that actually helps secure women and girls, right? Especially with the special love for women and girls of color, you know, she has really dampered media's outlook on assisting.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say, well, you know, well, media. Yeah, the media was really Black Twitter, as they call it. First of all, ain't that many Black people on Twitter. Out of all the platforms, I don't even know why they keep saying Black Twitter. They on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. You got more Black people on Pinterest than Twitter nowadays, right? So you got all these different avenues of people supporting the finer. They said the baby dropped her off in a stroller and then strolled off. See, you got to that's because you're not in the space of social media.
I'm not in the social media space. Yeah.
Which makes me concerned for your
it's
for
okay.
my safety.
I'm good.
You know,
I'll protect you.
Don't
you worry, I got you.
It's kind of scary.
I'm gonna steer you away from that.
I don't know social media. What you mean? Where you running from?
I know about the story though.
Right, you do.
You understand what I'm saying? Hey, listen.
For somebody who knows you, that's fucking great.
I know about
the
story
because you may not know shit.
I may not.
Yeah.
You know, if it's someone else's business, I may not know. You know what I'm saying?
Because you ain't got no way to find out.
Hey, listen, I'm good. I'll call him. You know, what about that?
So, but even that, right? So these type of stories and rappers who are out here giving image, even as college students, it's something going on with FAMU now where a member of the football team or somebody gave this group access to shoot a video with FAMU stuff all in the background, and they like titty, pussy, dick, titty, pussy, dick, you know. So that made it not that good for the college. You know what I'm saying? So, which is also a negative representation of HBCU culture.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, but the bad part is, why do we have to have such a higher standard? Why?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that we have to have such a high standard. I mean, I think it all boils down to, who you are as a person, whether you attend an HBCU or whether you attend a PWI, you just want to be, as best you can be, someone that's respected within your community, with what you're doing in life. And I think sometimes race comes into play depending on the situation. Case in point with this young lady, I think she attends an HBCU or she attended one
nursing program.
Yeah, so now there's a blackout on that program, but there are many different other things that happen in the world with various other peoples that didn't attend an HBCU.
That is correct.
So my question is there a stain on that institution as well?
And it's not just the same.
Because this person attended, i.e. Harvard, Yale, Brown, you name it, know. So how does it fit in? You're right. Should we be held to a higher standard? We should be held to our own standard. What do you believe in as a person? I think that's the...
And unfortunately, a lot of our standards are based on old culture in America. And that even includes old in in black culture, right?
True.
So I look at things different than, let's say, my father-in-law. He's 70. He was the first class to integrate his school in Panama City, Florida.
Gotcha.
I don't have that experience. So I'm not like, well, you better be careful because the white man's trying to get you. I don't have that mentality when I walk in a room.
Right.
And my children have it even less. Right.
Right.
So I think we need to just redefine what the culture is, because the culture is different than when a lot of the reason for HBCUs was because we weren't allowed to go to any colleges.
Facts.
So we had to start our own.
Facts.
Right?
Facts.
Now we don't have that issue.
Right.
Or do we? This affirmative action thing, shit. What is this going to do?
I mean, the colleges and universities have already been established. Affirmative action, I felt it was necessary. I still feel it's necessary in support of ensuring that there's a level playing field for everybody, and with it being taken away, which it has been, it's going to create some challenges, but it also may open up some opportunities as well.
Right.
So it just depends on how you view it. It's been taken away, so we no longer have the opportunity to say attend a Brown or a Harvard based upon our academic proficiency coming out of high school because of affirmative action. We don't have to let you in now.
Right.
But yet and still, since you didn't let me in, I'm going to be creative and start my own business or start my own university and or school in support of what I want to do as an academic person. So.
Right. But the argument was that it didn't level out the playing field. It gave a competitive advantage.
Oh God, no! I don't believe
that was definitely the argument.
Yeah.
The argument was that it gave, if it's a white guy here who's qualified, a black guy here who's equally qualified, based on affirmative action, we've got to give it to the black guy. Sorry, white guy.
Yeah. Well, I think you should give it to the most qualified.
No matter what.
No matter what.
Right. And I think that's the mentality in going that direction. But I think old America still exists in America. Mm-hmm. So because old America still exists is why we have things like Governor DeSantis in Florida and other people talking about that slaves did get a trade. They learned a trade. They learned how to work. They learned work ethic. They learned all these fucking damn things. They ain't say shit about the motherfucking ripped skin on their back from getting hit with the whip. Yeah. And forced to work 18 to 20 hours, barefoot, pregnant, in whatever state they were in, So in dire heat. Like I was outside, motherfucking, yesterday for a few hours, and I almost slapped the motherfucker. Let me tell you. Imagine working 18 hours bending over doing that shit. Master would have been slapped like a motherfucker. Man, Cole, you take your ass. I'd have been dead. I'd have been dead. I'd have been dead as hell.
We've come a long way from that, but sometimes it doesn't seem like it.
It's a new master.
Yeah.
It's always a new master, right?
Well, I believe that it's your mind that you have to train to do the things that you want to do. If people control you when they control your mind, that's just the bottom line. And when we were slaves, because we were once slaves, not you and I, but our ancestors were.
Well, you're from Freeman. I don't think you ever been a slave.
Our ancestors were, so whatever. And so it was a mental thing, you know. Right. I mean, even coming out of it, you didn't believe you were free. It still happens in the world today. There's some things that we've been doing for a long time, and then you don't have to do it anymore. You're like, man, I don't have to do that anymore.
Right.
I've been doing it for so long, it seems natural to me. So,
well, the fact that we still haven't first black any goddamn thing.
Yeah, that's a whole problem within itself, right there.
First black anything. And then I'm sick and tired of them just making things black when their people are equally white.
Yeah.
No disrespect to President Barack Obama, who I think was phenomenal in his 2 terms, but he's equally white as he is black.
Yeah, well,
you know what I'm saying? So just because his skin is darker and his daddy is, African, doesn't mean that he's less white. Yeah. And that goes back to the population thing, which goes back to the Roe versus Wade, which goes back to all these other controllables, right? They're trying to control the population because in white America's world, if you're mixed with anything, you're no longer white. Mm-hmm. So if me and a white lady have a baby, hey, the black race just got an extra kid.
So let's go back to HBCU. So when a white person is able to gain acceptance, shall I say, into an HBCU, how should we feel about that?
Well,
because the opportunity is there for them to be successful regardless.
Absolutely, and some of them are.
Yeah.
Some of them are successful. Some of them don't have to play sports. A lot of them do, but most of them don't have to play sports. Right. It's really like reverse psychology for them on HBCU.
Yeah, they're really doing. It's affirmative action for them.
Correct. Because a lot of times they go to school for free.
Right.
They get a lot of different incentives. So, when it comes down to it, all those laws are really to help white women. Let's be real. All those laws, the one who always wins in all these laws, the majority of people who win are white women. Even affirmative action, they were winning. You know what I mean? All that, they're winning. So, we can't take away the truth.
Right.
And, and a lot of people are like, well, that's because women had it hard. I agree that women had it hard, but it's completely different when you're born black. You could, that's all, that shit right there they talk about makes as much sense as Bruce Jenner dressing like a woman and saying that he's straight. Yeah. Shit don't make sense to me.
Yeah, I can't really speak to that because I don't quite understand that. It's so, that's a lot. That's a lot to process.
Yeah, they had a picture with OJ and motherfucking damn Bruce Jenner on the same picture. Look at the picture didn't have to say shit. It was a meme.
This was before Bruce went.
This back in the Olympics.
Bruce was Bruce.
Yeah. This right. Back when not Caitlyn.
Yeah.
And all this shit is isn't it Caitlyn?
I guess, man.
I don't even know Dwayne Wade's daughter's son name no more. I'd be lost.
I don't know either.
I better stop before I get compliance. I need a director of compliance because my cancel meter is always on. So back to HBCUs.
Yeah.
So one thing that I have recognized is even in funding, right? So it's a couple things here. a lot of times in HBCU culture, as alumni, they're not giving back the same that people do at PWIs, right? They're not giving back financially. They're not giving back resourcefully. Their give back is homecoming. Mm-hmm. They come down homecoming. They fucking infiltrate the market with purchases and bookstore purchases. That's the money maker. Homecoming is the money maker.
For HBCUs, exact.
But
yeah.
but it tears up shit at the same fucking time.
Yeah.
Right? So why don't we do more to take care of our beloved institutions?
I mean, that's a great question. I just feel like we need to really sit down and give that some thought, because as much as we speak so highly of HBCUs because of the traditions that were established there and now that we're a part of, but like you said, we still can't forget to give back to them, because our support is needed.
Right.
Because they raised us, quote unquote.
We wouldn't be here without them.
Oh, absolutely not.
You know what I'm saying? I definitely would not have.
It would not have happened. So, that's something that, that's a very serious conversation that we really need to talk about. It's creating those avenues to give back. And they're out there. Right. But they're just not as pronounced as they are at other institutions. Correct. You understand? Correct. Like you said, the homecomings, yeah, man, we have a good time. But, are we feeding them monthly?
No, we're not.
In support of the students or the scholars that are coming there now.
Right.
That's transitioned through there since we've been there.
Right.
And even one of the brothers wants us to join the alumni foundation.
Right.
I just got that. You may have gotten that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to join it because I feel like that's important.
I feel like I'm leaving Atlanta.
Yeah, well, you leaving, I'm not. So I feel like, you need to give back, because that's a part of, like you said, who we are and how we've come through. So,
right, but my question is, how are they said half the money's supposed to go back to the school.
Half goes back to the school,
right.
Virginia State, and half goes back to the alumni foundation here, I would gather.
Correct.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That's your phone?
Yeah, that's my phone. Yeah. I turned it off, but
you don't sound like you turned it off.
I did. I turned it off.
It sounded like it was pretty fucking on to me.
Well, that's it's
always you.
The salad mode is on.
It's always you,
it happens,
So another thing that I've noticed, right? So like a couple white dudes I know who are members of fraternities at their college campus, when they leave college, it's damn near done.
Oh wow!
Like they don't really have 65 bruhs, like, hey, how y'all doing, bruhs? They don't really have that. Like when they come to school, yes, but they don't really have like ongoing things.
Oh yeah.
Like think about as many white people that be driving down the street. How many fraternity and sorority tags do you see on their cars?
Not a lot.
Correct.
Not a lot.
But in the black culture,
yeah,
I saw a bro with a purple and gold car.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was doing, but I like the colors together. That's really intense.
That's a part of our culture. Now, that's a great question as to why don't they do what we do in respects to that. I mean, because I think we're a family.
Right.
I think, we start off we didn't have anything.
Right.
You understand? So when you're able to bring some individuals together of like-minded organization-wise, that's something that you want to be a part of for the rest of your life, because it creates an information line throughout the rest of your life. I'll pick up the phone and call, say, hey, listen, X, Y, and Z. Do you know this person? That's how I got to be part of where I am today. Absolutely. Because of those relationships and those connections.
Absolutely.
And you need those in life. I think as African Americans, we need to feel connected to people that can move us to the next level. Other people, they may just be like, I'm done now. I don't want everyone to talk to you again. Right. I see you when I see you. But that's just not who we are as a people. We need each other to be successful. Period.
The network is everything. Your network is your network.
It's everything.
And then the fact that we out here living in Wakanda, it only makes it even better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, apparently it's just not you, right? Is that phone again?
I don't know. It might be. I don't know if I even can check it. I need to check it to turn it off.
You can check it. So we're at 3150 Highland Parkway, which is Patio's Social Club, located next to Chicago Pizza, 3150 Highland Parkway in Smyrna, Georgia. I'm smoking on a Casano. Casano is what it's called. It's very mild. It's Connecticut wrapper. To me, it reminds me of a Davidoff. The signature line Davidoff is what it reminds me of. It tastes very, very creamy. It's good to me. That's short version. But do shout out to the people here at Patio Social Club. Come check them out. Come support them. Great family here. They do their thing. They've been supporters of our show, so we look forward to that. But back to the HBCUs, right? So we touched on something with the whole the network, right? The family based mentality that HBCUs give.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, the reason behind it is because we only had us in the days of old.
Respect
right?
to that.
So of course that contains contains every reason to perpetuate that concept of family-oriented, family building, family-oriented, family building.
Absolutely.
Now, kids nowadays at HBCUs have less standards than we had even when we were there. Like I remember getting to school, it was no co-ed visitation.
Right.
You want a girl, you had to sneak her in with a hoodie on.
Yeah, pretty
and a
much.
baseball cap.
Yeah.
She had to look like one of the homies.
It's tough.
Then you had to sneak her out. Woo. Next to that, you can only kick her within the lobby.
Yeah.
And that was on campus.
Yeah, because the PA was watching you. Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. Then even with cars, kids can't even take their cars as freshmen to black college campuses. Most black college campuses do not allow freshmen to have cars on campus.
That's still a thing?
That's still a thing.
Wow. And
I think the whole purpose is, it goes back to family, right? The family idea that when your kids are away, we got your kids, which is good. But I think it also it hampers them from growth, right? You leave a house, you're of age to go out in the world and experience things. You go to a PWI, you're really on your fucking own. You go to the military, you motherfucking put your life at risk at the same age. You go to HBCU, you're fucking on punishment again. You don't have the freedoms of adulthood like you would at a PWI. So I think that there's a lot to talk about that family and the constraints that it possesses.
Yeah. I mean, I think those restraints are needed to some degree until there's some level of establishment there. I mean, just because you're fresh out of high school, 17, 18 years old, and you land on a campus with 3,000 or 4,000 people at an HBCU, that doesn't mean you know how to navigate that.
But should you go to UGA?
I mean, but it still doesn't mean you know how to navigate it, though. You just there.
But they leave it to you to do it.
Well, they do leave it to you to do it. So but are you doing it well? I mean, I'm not saying you're gonna do it with excellence at an HBCU, but I think some of those things are in place, like you said, are there in support of maintaining that family status, because that's the establishment of it. That's why it came into creation.
Right.
And the more you move away from that level of tradition, the more an HBCU will look like a PWI. And there's nothing wrong with the PWI, but there are distinct differences between the two.
Right.
And I think those smaller variables play a major role in ensuring that those differences can be maintained. But you still have your options to go. You can go where you want to go to school.
You can go wherever you want to go.
Let's be clear.
You can go be grown if you want.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can go be grown real quick. And like this is not a bashing of PWI.
Oh, no,
right?
no, not
at
all.
It's just about our experiences and what we had at a HBCU and how that portrayed in our lives and the success that we possess and the success that we continue to grow and the friendships that we have that are ongoing as well.
Yeah, I mean, because, even stepping into professions, sometimes when you're younger, you're just coming into the business world. Someone may ask you where you went to school, and depending on what you say, they may know someone that went to that school, or do you know X, Y, and Z,
or familiar with it,
or familiar with the school, So, and the same thing happens in different worlds. In a PWI world, I'm sure there are a lot of people that have received jobs based upon the connections that they have.
Absolutely.
So, we're just basically trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, we're emulating what works.
We're emulating what works.
I would agree with that completely.
Because it works.
Right. But I would say that I'm not taking anything away from PWI experiences again, but people who I do know, they don't have the same embedded culture that you receive at an HBCU. Yeah. That culture is the piece why I do prefer my children attend HBCUs.
Right.
Because that piece of culture is completely different than anything else.
Right.
Like I went home with people over the weekends. I got to kick it in Philly, got to kick it in New York, got to kick it in even DC, Florida. All these places that during different breaks. Most of mine, I was a hoe. So I would go with a lot of women to Go visit their mamas.
Yeah. He said that.
I was. I was. I mean, I know what I was. You know what I'm saying? But
I mean, but you know, you're right about that.
Yeah.
It's just a different environment. It's just a different feel. And I'm thankful that we had the opportunity to go there.
Absolutely.
I recommend HBCU.
Oh, 100%. I recommend it first, but I recommend whatever you feel you're going to be successful at. Because I've also worked in proprietary education. You know, I worked for AIU, I worked for Sanford Brown, I worked for Westwood. All these like a divide. That's proprietary education. So, and I think sometimes that's really they prey on these kids, man. Mm-hmm. You know, like you got a kid who come out of high school with a 1.7, didn't do that well. They're going to sell you into a program that tell you can get accelerated graduation in 3 years. If you're not the student that's going to fit that program and be able to deal with that year-round workload, you're not going to be successful.
Right.
But you're going to owe that fucking money.
Yeah, you're going to owe that money.
You're going to owe that money.
That's a fact.
You know. And then I think also sometimes HBCUs, we need to go another step above, right? Another step beyond. So like my son, he's going to Fort Valley.
Got it.
Fort Valley gives them an iPad, which pretty much has all their books on the iPad.
Okay.
We pay for it. We buy it for $1. I think that is phenomenal. They got a program with Apple. The shit works.
I like it.
I think that sometime for years we've had such lower end resources that it's even more challenging for us to not only get with modern times, but to even the foreseeable futures, see how we could adapt to some things that are going to be developing. Mm-hmm. You know, I think that is a problem that we don't always do that.
Yeah, well, you know, speaking of that iPad, I mean, that's a great idea because, you know, I remember the book days.
The book bag is fucking heavy
having to go
as
to the
shit.
bookstore. I mean, you may have 15 books and you need all these books.
I used to work in a bookstore, remember?
Yeah, I remember. And that was good it was a good time, you know. Yeah, the book, it was a good time back then.
And that damn system was so antiquated.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Oh, man.
And I'm not sure it's changed much. But,
they had to change to survive. They definitely had to change to survive.
Yeah.
You know, but like, it's even different for us. Like, when we were in school, we had email.
Oh, no.
We had a fucking internet. We had library. Library, catalog.
Yeah, you
Dewey
want to know
Decimal
something.
System.
That's it, man.
You had to go find a book. And then I remember we got the little computer, remember? That you could type in the book and they'd be like, it's over here. You had to go to the card catalog.
Yeah.
That shit is completely different also. But
Yeah.
even that was behind.
Yeah, it was behind, but you know what? It worked for us at the time because that's all we knew.
Right, but the school itself, my challenge to HBCUs in a lot of aspects is, I know funding is hard to receive. I know as alumni, there needs to be a better job of giving back to supporting your institutions. I know all of this. But we have to find a way to give our kids, our future, better tools, better resources to be competitive in a world with no affirmative action. Right? To be competitive in that world. Because we're not just talking about in the school system, we're talking about in the workforce.
True.
You know, affirmative action covered all bases.
Right.
So now, yes, it's kind of hard saying, well, what these kids going to do? Is there going to be more black kids supporting HBCUs? Are HBCUs going to have those resources available? Shit, sometimes they overcrowd themselves now.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, and also in respects to what you said, you know, that affirmative action not being applicable to us anymore, you know, it should open your eyes up for people to work even harder at what they're trying to accomplish.
Right.
You know, because if you have the gift and if you have the talent to do something, it doesn't matter whether you have affirmative action or not. I'm the best person for the job, you know, because of my criteria and because of what I'm able to accomplish. So I need my opportunity. And if you don't give me the opportunity, I'm going to create the opportunity. So, you know, I think we just need to get back to people working and just being the best versions of themselves in respects to what they do.
Right.
You know, and then you don't have to worry about whether or not, you know, am I going to get a shot? Well, if you don't give me the shot, you're going to miss out.
I heard
because
that.
I'm good at what I do.
Right.
So that's you. And you'll see if you don't hire me, and I'm going to let you know about it at some time in the near future. But I was the best person for the job. Black, white, yellow, blue, or green,
matter.
it doesn't make a difference.
So you've been in the education system working for how long now?
26 years.
20, and you started at high school, didn't you?
Started at
Miller Grove, was it?
No, I started at a middle school.
Middle school.
I started at a
So
middle
how long
school.
ago were you at Miller Grove?
2000.
2000. So that's 23 years ago.
Yeah.
So those kids that were graduating then are now 41.
Yeah, that first
40,
class.
41.
Yeah, absolutely.
You ever
Yeah.
run into these? Like,
Sometimes I run into them periodically. Not recently, I ran into a young lady at the airport.
that's not today's date, right?
What's not today's date?
The date that you're having after the show. Is it
No,
okay.
anyway, don't listen to him, guys. So what I'm saying is that recently I ran into a former scholar at the airport.
Former scholar?
And because she was a scholar. I mean, but it was good to see her, you know, and I think she graduated and went to an HBCU. You know, she gave me her story. She's a physical therapist now. So there are people out there that can be successful regardless of where you go.
Is it shunned on, like, for you to, like, hit past students?
I don't know what he's talking about.
I'm just saying, like, 20 years ago?
Nah.
23 years ago.
That's not the avenue. The avenue is to teach them. So when I
Right,
see
so
them,
what you taught them?
no. When I see them, I still see them as scholars.
I'm
Period.
saying in the industry. I'm not talking about you personally.
Nah,
Is it shunned upon?
I can't speak.
Like,
for,
I hit one of my old teachers before.
Yeah. Well,
You know what I'm saying? When I was an adult.
I can't say that. You know, I'm just being. I'm gonna let him have all this fun. You know, but for me, you know, it's about building them up so that they can be successful.
So now they successful.
Great.
Okay.
And now they have.
And now they're in their 40s.
No.
And you are single currently. Is that correct?
I don't. Yeah, maybe, but no.
So you
That's never gonna happen.
You never would. Like,
Never.
you never would.
It's never gonna happen.
Honestly,
Nope.
you wouldn't.
No. Because I still see them as a
The
child.
18-year-old.
Yeah.
No matter what.
They're a child to me. You know, even though they're grown, but
They're
yet
grown.
it's still, you know, they look up to me as someone that's put them on a path to be successful.
And they may want to repay.
No, I'm good.
I mean, like, it might be a chick, like, you know, Dr.
Thank you is good
Dr.
enough.
Jones, I've always had a crush on you.
Thank you is good enough.
I'm 40 now.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I heard that. I got a goat mouth.
Yeah.
I got a goat throat.
I
I'm trying to
appreciate
show you
it.
something.
Yeah, thank
It's
you.
not gonna work.
No, thank you.
No, I think
It's
maybe
good.
we'll
It's
talk
good to meet you.
We'll talk after the show.
Yeah, we'll talk.
You
Yeah,
know, this might be a little different.
it's
Depends.
good to meet you.
It depends.
I never.
But you know, I'm curious though if that is shunned upon, right? Like, because you talking about you've been in the game for 25 years, and now you got somebody who was 17, now the motherfucker's 42.
Nah. I mean, I know they're of age, but you know, that's just not how me personally.
Have you heard the term, like, throat goat?
No, I don't know what he's talking about.
Like, greatest of all time throat.
No, I never
Like,
heard that.
motherfucking hammer slammer.
Yeah.
Sloppy toppy.
Yeah, let's get back to HBCUs.
Well, one thing I did learn about HBCUs
Hey,
is I didn't have to go to a PWI to receive good head.
yeah. HBCUs, you can learn a lot of things there. Yeah, and more than knowledge, you can learn a lot.
Well, Dr. Jones, man, as my friend and my frat brother and my
Absolutely.
line brother, I appreciate you for kicking with me today.
Appreciate it, man.
I had to put something ignorant on. I couldn't let you. out
It's
here
it's
without
all
that.
good. I know.
You did really well considering.
Hey, man, listen,
know.
on the spot, you know. Hey, listen, I'm good.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, listen. I'm good. Let's be clear.
But I do thank you for being on the show, man.
Absolutely,
You know,
man. Appreciate
I
it.
know that we gave some insightful conversations about the HBCU experience. Even for those who have children now who's going to college or even thinking about going to college, just look out for HBCU. Consider it. Just
Absolutely.
consider it. You know, put it in your lineup of my choices. There's an HBCU that fit whatever you want. If you want to go to Harvard, we got Howard's. You know,
Absolutely.
You want to go to Yale, we got Hampton. You want to go to
Yeah.
Cornell, we got Morehouse or Spelman. You know, we
Right.
have options that are available.
Yeah.
If you want to get your party on, to me, A&T got the best homecoming on the planet. North Carolina A&T homecoming is the best, with FAMU being a close second.
Okay.
But you can have a good time at Virginia State too. And
Absolutely.
we always want you to come there. But you
Absolutely.
know, I would ask them how they can find you, but there's no fucking way to find you.
Yeah, it's no way to find me, but if you
If
need
you
to reach
see me,
me,
say
reach
what's
out to
up.
Cole. Yeah. Yeah, right.
Well, thanks again. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Practical Smokers. We'll be back. Hope you enjoyed the content. I want y'all to start looking to the affirmative action thing. We might have to try to get it overturned again. You know, I want you to learn, be more well versed in HBCUs and how affirmative action takes place and how is it affecting even like scholarships and things like that, as well as workforce as you delve into it. Next to that, y'all, stay lit. We out.
Peace.
You already hit end of it? Perfect. Good job, dog.
Appreciate you, dog.
Yeah, don't get up there. I want to
Okay.
get a wave or something.
Okay.
To, like,
Okay.
yeah, okay. Hold on. more.
Where you get those?
I got this from the got the
Dish.
milk,
Okay.
the scarfing. I said you got some empty boxes that we can use from.
Right.
But I like this one.